So now we have our folio. You can see kind of the outside of the folio. And I want to add, it's going to look like this when we're all done. Oh, I think I'm going to glue that down a little bit while I have glue out. Good to see that now, so we can fix it. And we're just going to fold that over. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not an expert on collaging. So I just added some glue to that, and we're going to hold that down for a minute. I'm not an expert on collaging. I may not have used enough. I may not have sealed it right. There's a whole lot of things that might have gone on that I don't know why that didn't stick, but we're just sticking it back down again. All right, so now we're going to add some pockets on each side. And I wanted to use, I've lost my vellum. I want to use vellum for this, and found it. So I want to show you my vellum. My vellum is all rolled up like this, and I'm not too worried about that because we're still going to be able to use this. But let me tell you why my vellum is all rolled up like this. So I had just printed a ton of papers, and I ran my vellum through, and it came out curled. And I thought, you know what? Let me see if the directions have anything about that. And it said that in order to use vellum, you must have a cool printer. So when you run vellum through a hot printer, it does this. And so it does this. I thought it was because of the ink, but it actually is not. It's actually because I was using a hot printer. It says if you've used more than 5 sheets, allow it time to cool back down again. So I'm just going to try rolling this the other way a little bit and see if that helps to flatten this out a little bit. But we're going to make some pockets in here, and I want my pockets to be 4 inches wide and 2.5 inches high. So they're going to be 4 inches this way, and then we're going to cut them 2.5 inches this way. So for this, I'm getting this handy dandy tool out again. Let me move some things over. Let me put the lid back on my glue. Living in Colorado, putting glue lids back on is very important. And let's get this out of the way. This is kind of how I craft. I do craft with a lot of stuff. So we're going to cut this first one at the 4-inch mark, 4 1/4. I think I'm going to make these 4 1/4. I don't want them quite as wide, but I want them almost as wide as the pieces that they're going on. So we're going to do it 4 1/4 and 4 1/4. This is going to be fun to work with, but I refuse to waste anything. And once these are glued, they'll stick fine. So we're going to make this one 4 1/4 as well. As my husband always says, check twice or 3 times, cut once. And even doing that, sometimes I still have issues. All right, now we're going to turn these and cut them at the 2.5 inch mark, this direction. And so there will be a little bit of leftover when we're done, but not a lot. That was also my other hope. So 2.5, that's going to get cut right on the B, but that's okay. Actually, you know what? Let's go this way. Let's see. If I do this 2.5, I wonder if I can save that B. I bet I can. So sometimes you want to look at what you're cutting and see where you're going to cut and make sure you're not cutting into something that maybe you would like to see saved and be whole. So we're saving that B and pretty much going to get a whole B out of it. It'll be close enough. All right. So that goes off to the side. There's 3. And so we have that same B here. And so I'm going to start at this end and we'll cut down to that B. So 2.5 again. Another 2.5. And the last 2.5 is with this B, and we're going to cut that across the bottom again. So I'm actually going to take 1/4 of an inch off the top here. Let's do that. So I'm trying to save as much of that B as I can. And like I said, definitely make sure that you run your vellum through a cold printer. Otherwise you end up, the heat actually is what makes it curl. All right, so we have all of those. Now we're going to put thumb holes in all of them again. So I like using the larger one. You can use a 1 inch, a 1.5 inch. There's all different kinds of sizes. So I'm just flipping this over. Now here's my question. Which side do I want out? I think I want this side out. All right. So we're flipping it over. We're flipping this over. That's the top. And we're just going to try to line that up in the middle and make a little cut in the top. Let's see. There's the top. Again, right in the middle. Another one. Let's see, that's the top. Flip it over. Next one. There's the top. I'm going to try not to cut too much of that B off. May just cut a little bit of his antenna off. Just a little bit. Another one. Let's see, that's the top. Oh, this one we may lose a little bit of B. That's okay. And last one. So there are 6 pockets that will go in here. Like that. And so now all we're going to do is glue the pockets. And again, thanks to the magic of being able to speed this up, I'm not going to bore you with watching me glue all these pockets, but I am going to use the art glitter glue because I can make a very thin line as opposed to the other glues, and I want to make this very thin. All right, so I'm going to hit the speed up process now, and you can just watch me glue. All right, so I now have all my pockets glued on. You may have seen that this ended up being a short pocket, and so I put it there because I didn't think about this hole. So sometimes when you're working on something, you all of a sudden realize, that did not turn out the way I had planned it. So now I need my ribbon. It's not quite dry, but that's okay. It's drying really quickly, and I'm not going to worry about that for right now. And I'm feeling there's a loose piece here. So I don't know, you may find you need to go back and glue down a couple of pieces. I think sometimes with collaging, we think we've gotten the glue everywhere, and sometimes we haven't. And so you may find yourself going back and gluing down a couple of pieces as they pop up. I mean, hopefully you're an expert at collaging and that doesn't happen. Anywho, what I need next, I'm going to grab my crocodile. Yes, I should have planned this earlier and I didn't. I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop this a minute. I'm going to grab my crocodile and I'm going to dry this real quick. Be right back. All right, so I've got this dried now. I grabbed my crocodile and I have my large eyelets. Now, I probably could have gone with some slightly smaller eyelets, but I want to use the large eyelets for how I'm going to tie this off. So again, I need to make a mark at the 6-inch mark on this side so that I can actually put this hopefully in the right place. And so I've cleaned up so much I can't find my ruler. And you're probably going, it's right there, Michelle, right in front of you. You can't see it. No, I can't see my ruler anywhere. Well, guess what? I just realized I have rulers right here. Earf-de-derf. So 6 inches. So this is 12 inches. Hello. And 0 is the middle. So we're going to come in a wee bit right about there. And that should be plenty far enough in for that. Perfect. So I don't know if you've ever used, I like the big crocodile. And so we're going to run it back to the 3/16. That's the big hole. And I'm just going to put this in here. And I like to look at it from the side to make sure I'm matching this up. And then we have to put this all the way back to the top. I actually already have this set for my eyelet, but if for some reason you have lost your thing and you don't know how to set things, I highly recommend, I think there's a couple of things online you can use that you can find it. I like to drop my eyelet in first, and then I actually put it up into and line it up with the top of it. You push down and it should make a crunching sound like that. And that is the back splaying out. You should get this really pretty flowered pattern. So that is going to be where we're going to put our ribbon to tie all of this shut. And I only need 3 feet of this, or a yard of this. So let's see, that's 12. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And I always like to double up my seam binding because I find that it's actually rather thin, and I want to have enough to get this to tie shut. And so I'm just taking it, I'm folding it. We're going to push it through from this side. If you try to push it through from the other side, it actually will get hung up on that flowery part on the back. And then we're simply going to take this and pull it through. All right, so now we have this done and we just need to fill it up. And I have created a whole bunch of pieces. So for example, I have created this notebook, and I think that's the front of it. I also have 2 tags that I've made, And these are just empty. I was going to put paper in them and I decided against it because I felt like they would be too thick and we wouldn't be able to use them. So you can open these up and use them. And then this is just a real simple journal, plain white paper that I put in here. I trimmed the edge, I rounded the corners, and that reminds me, I do want to round the corner on this side. So I'm going to round just these corners. Let's see if I can do this. It's really thick now. I may not be able to. Oh, I did it. And then, I know I always sound surprised when I'm actually able to do things. And we're going to do that side. So I think I'm going to try to get that a little bit more rounded. There we go. Now, so those corners are rounded. Now we're going to, I had a piece to glue on the front of this, and now I don't even see it. So I think what I'm going to do at this point, is this part of it? That's part of it. That was part of it. So where is the other piece that I had? I was all organized when I started this morning, and now I'm not. I had a real pretty piece that I was going to put there, and now I can't find it. Huh. Okay, well, you know what? Some of the decorating I'm going to just do off camera, so I'm just going to show you how this would get loaded up. This is actually going, and then you'll have to come back for the flip through. I'll do a full flip through once this is all completely done. So this slides in here, and these slide in each end of this section. It's a little bit tight because I think I got the glue a little bit tight on this. But these should slide all the way in. And when I say all the way in, even that should go all the way in. So now you just see the black part there. And this one goes in this end as well. Whew, I got that a wee bit tight. So I may have to loosen that up, but you get the idea. That's gonna go in there. And then I have all these awesome printables. And we're just going to start layering some of these into these different parts. So again, everything is from Dot's Inspiration Shop. And I am going to stick these, and I have an entire pile here of all different things. So you need to be careful because you don't want to stick things that are too tall up here, or they'll stick out the top. And I like to throw several things in each of these, and so, ooh, that one's really pretty. I love some color in these. And then I've got some tags. Let's throw some different tags, and these tags I will also get this on, but I'm feeling like we're getting just a wee bit long on how long we're taking to do this. Oh, and this was one that I also left open. So this goes in here. So there's some extra things, but I will definitely be back in another video to show you the entire flip through of all of this. So let's stick this one up here. So all you do is this folds in over all of those. It folds here, and you want to make sure it's all the way in, as far in as it will go. And then this folds over the top. And you bring this around, and then you can just tie it here, or you can tuck it however you want to do that. And I'm just going to tie this right here like this. And now you have your tall ledger style folio. So this is 12 inches this way and 4.5 inches wide. And so I will finish all this up and look in the next day or two for the follow-up of the flip through on this as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial and you will make your own folios, tall folios, ledger style folios. I'm really not sure what to call this, so if you have a great idea, post it below. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope I've inspired you to be creative today. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this little tutorial on how to make your own tall folio and matching ledger. One of the things I wanted to leave you with was, after a little bit of time, I realized that this was not sitting in here properly. And so what I did was I actually went back and cut about 1/8 of an inch in. That made all the difference in the world. So when I slide this in now, it actually fits all the way in. And so now it's flush with this edge instead of sticking way out. And that makes all the difference in making this little folio shut closed. So when you make it, you'll probably want to cut this in about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, and that will make this fit. And you still have plenty of room, but I recommend you do it before you put your pockets on and adjust it accordingly. So that was a little something I found, so that now you can see this is in line with this. So now when you close it, it actually all closes up and is square instead of kind of being wonky. So that will help keep it from being wonky. So anyway, I hope that that little tip also helps you to make your folio just that much better. And I hope I've inspired you to be creative today.